classic standard.
The classic 80s action thriller soundtrack playlist, Viper.
Viper. Dude,
royalty-free, copyright-safe music by White Bad Audio.
I was watching this video of this guy, one of those snake people, the reptile people.
Like, hold on. You say that, and we probably have 4 different people who identify as reptile people listening right now. We have reptile people, snake people. I own snakes. I like snakes.
Yeah.
They're not a sexual fetish. We have the ones who are like, I want snakes in me. And then we have people who are like, I want to be snake.
And then we have reptilians.
Like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Which one are you referencing?
She's a listener of the podcast,
I know.
by the way. But no, I'm referring to this guy he like owns a reptile shop, probably.
But okay, so when you said snake guy, I immediately went to black eyes and reptile tattoos.
Nope. This guy looks like a normal dude. He is down one finger.
Dude, that happens from the snake venom.
Yeah, via snake venom bite. Yeah. And so he's just, the first video I saw of him, it's like he's just has this little tiny, Tupperware container.
Yep. And
he's just tickling the top of this like straw material, hay or whatever. And then he's just like tickling it with a chopstick. And then this freaking a cobra just pops its head out. Baby cobra just boom, pops its head out, full hood. And he's just like playing with it, like with his hand, and it's following his hands and stuff. And he gets it out with a stick, and then he's changing the water and cleaning its cage and whatever, putting it back in. I'm just like, bro, this is insane. And during the video, yeah, you can see his nubby finger.
It doesn't look just nubby; it looks rotten.
Yeah, it does look rotten. And then so then because I watched the whole video, a little while later, another one of his videos pops up.
Yeah.
I'll
just say this happened to me too. We're
the same
YouTube,
guy.
Yeah, we're the same person.
The same guy.
Oh no, I've watched this. Like I've watched a lot of. I watched the ones where he goes through like top 10 noodles that will kill me. And like he looks at his snakes of like which one is the worst, most lethal. His odds of surviving. And
so the baby snake was kind of cute. Still made my palms sweaty. Next video pops up, 50-gallon trash can, and he's like, King Cobra in here, and he pulls the lid off that, and I mean the head shoots up.
Oh yeah,
just like into the hood, just gets freaking huge. It's like the hood is, I don't know, like 12 inches across, like giant. And then he's like, the snake's like molting or something, and he's talking about how it's molting and he can't see, so they're extra
spooky,
aggressive right now. And he gets it out, and then he's trying to clean its cage while it's just on the floor, and then he's kind of getting ready to get it back in, and it's just, and he's messing around with it with his hand, getting it to follow it, and then he's using his foot too, and it just strikes his boot, and he acts like nothing just happened. And this is a big snake. Like I don't know how to weigh snakes by looking at him, but I'd say probably like a 35-pound snake. I don't know, like
no, it's way more than that, bro. But because adult king cobras, I don't know about all cobras, but king cobras, adults are like 18 feet.
Yeah, this one was like pushing something, very long and like 2 hands around at its most girthiest.
Yeah.
Which is why I call it the king cobra. But the in other news, anyways, I just was like,
dude, you must not be circumcised. You got your hood.
No, but it's like I could never do that job. I can't even do garter snakes. Can you do snakes?
I can do snakes after the initial sight of them. Like when they're just like
pop out on the trail or something.
Boop, what's up? I'm just like, I get heebie-jeebies. I jump. But after that, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I forget. I have hands and legs. You don't. I'm easily more capable at dealing with you than you are with me. But they're spooky, especially the venomous ones. I've never understood why anyone would want something venomous in their house. That has never made sense to me. Like I knew people growing up who had venomous snakes, lizards, venomous spiders and scorpions, and I was like, bro, why have that when that could like kill your kid, kill your dog? Like, sure, I'm not worried. It's not that I'm afraid of it getting out and killing me. I'm afraid of it getting out and like my dog getting bit, and then knowing like my dumb ass brought this venomous thing into my house and it killed my dog. You know, so anyways.
Yeah, because I knew a guy like this who he was still kind of around the youth group, but he was too old.
Oh, yes,
you know,
yes.
And living in the basement with his parents. I think he became a successful normal guy later, but at the time you go to this dude's house, he's like, you know, 20 years old, which isn't like the end of the world, but just different. I was like in middle school. He's like 20, but like,
but was he like youth group volunteer?
No, he was like just kind of youth,
like
he was youth group adjacent, you know, at this point, you know. And so anyways, go to his house, and on the wall of his bedroom, one wall, floor to ceiling, wall to wall, was terrariums.
What? Hold on, though. That's cool. I'm just going to make the case. I'm going to take the stand now. That's cool.
I think if you're super into this, it might be cool to have that as like in a different room.
Tell me it's not cool to watch things eat other things.
Yes.
Tell me it's not cool to watch them fight and eat each other.
Yeah. Not while I'm trying to go to sleep. Not while like
I don't know.
But just going back to like
I wouldn't want it in my room.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, in my basement.
I know, dude. Like the back to the conversation about like venomous things in your house. Like he had everything.
But it doesn't have to be venomous, right? Like you can have a terrarium full of ants and it be awesome. You can have a terrarium of frogs and praying mantis, fishies.
It could be cool, but it was still it was too far. It was too much, and he had lots of the scary things in there too.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I could never sleep in there. I would never be able to sleep in there.
I remember the first time I saw someone who had, the like Amazonian millipede and centipedes that are like 2 feet long in an aquarium in their room. And I was like, thanks for letting me know you have this so I can burn your house down.
Yeah, dude.
Psycho.
This is condemned.
Yeah. It was so offensive to me that they would be like that. Someone's like, yeah, this is my millipede, and they pull it out and they let it crawl, and I'm like, why aren't you crushing that in half right now, dude?
Yeah,
like
every lizard brain instinct I have says kill.
Oh yeah.
Kill.
Anything with more than 4 legs, I'm like, I should murder it.
Dude.
Anyways, except for praying mantis. I think praying mantis are sick as all hell, dude.
They're super cool because I feel like I've
had several of them that are pets. They think they can. That's why they're cool, bro. Because you kind of get to play with them. You get to be like, oh wow, you're so strong, and then they like chill out and they will go away. They just want to get away from you. You know, you're scary, but they're just absolute insanely intelligent and like predators for the fact that their brain is the size of like a pebble.
Right.
And I don't know. They're just, it's real cool. I had a couple of them and they were great. They're great pets. They're great safe pets too for a kid. Like they can't actually hurt your kid. They will treat your kid how to maintain and like look after something that has a sensitive environment. You know, they can't overfeed it too. That's a cool thing. Like,
oh yeah.
Like they are really picky eaters. So if you just throw a bunch of stuff in there, they won't eat it all at once. They'll just only eat as they need. And they're free, bro. You just go out in the backyard and catch it.
Just find one of those things.
Anyways, pets, dude. That guy was cool. I gotta say, scariest snake out of his collection, the boom slang. That thing looks like a snake knife.
Is that the fast one?
It's the one that's like green and like rather than like spreading a hood out like a cobra, it flattens and gets more narrow. And when it looks at him, bro, it looks at him like it wants to murder him.
Any reptile that can convey emotion is scary to me. You know what I mean?
What about iguanas, dude? People have iguanas like they're dogs.
Yeah, but I mean like, but I feel like they still can't convey like emotion via the eyes.
I think they can. Yeah. I think iguanas, I've seen people in Florida with iguanas where like you pet the iguana, its eyes roll like a dog does. It gets
excited.
Yeah. It wants to crawl up your leg and stuff.
That's true. Would you eat an iguana?
I would, but like I probably would only want to do it really out of like
respect for the person
serving it to you. If someone cooked it and served it, I would, but like it's like a survival thing.
Oh yeah.
I think iguanas, like, don't get me wrong, I understand they're pests in a lot of places, but they're also one of those things that like they act too much like a dog.
Oh yeah.
I kind of would feel bad about killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess I feel as bad killing feral iguanas as I would with coyotes.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I've known a good amount of people, probably like a good 4 or 5 people who had a pet iguana that was just totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, didn't shit in the house. Like,
Yeah.
would go outside and do its business. Wanted to be a buddy. It wanted the attention that, whenever someone was new in the house, it wanted to see them and hang out. And I was like, that's cool, dude. Like, I don't think anyone thinks of lizards that way, and like they're pretty neat.
You can connect that way.
Yeah.
I had a buddy in middle school who his older brother had an iguana, and you had to, if you handled it, you had to be an adult man first of all because it was a big one, and you had to wear a glove, not because it would bite you, but just because of how rowdy it would shake. You ever seen an iguana like shake? Like
they do get rowdy for sure.
Yeah.
And they're like floppy.
Yeah, and this was a big one. Like just so not native to where we live too.
Yeah.
And they would just be in the yard.
Yeah.
In the woods and just like hanging out with the goats and stuff and just wandering around and
just doing their iguana
doing its
bro.
thing, yeah.
That's pretty interesting. And it is always funny to me how we meet up, once, twice a week, and we've just watched the same thing in the last week.
The same
exact like trends. It's funny. Like, okay, like what? I got a confession though. The last couple weeks, I've been having some pretty mean headaches. Like when I went out to Michigan, Thanksgiving, I had some like just like left side behind my eye socket, making my eyes water, just headaches. I'm like, God, this feels like when I quit caffeine and nicotine at the same time a couple years ago. Just weeks of like painful daily headaches. And I was still zenning, still drinking coffee, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Last night, I figured it out.
What is it?
After all my shit talking about 3 milligram Zins.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't double check when I bought my log of Zen. My whole log is 3s.
Oh.
And so I've been getting half dose for like weeks. And now the headaches are gone. But it's because because when I buy a log, they last me, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Oh, nice.
And so like, that's why I didn't notice until now. And I was like, I threw 3 in last night. And I was like, man, just no effect at all. Threw in another 2. I was like, what is going on? And I looked at the can and I saw they were 3s. And I was like, no. And I went and I pulled out my like opened log and I saw the rest of them were all 3s. I went to the trash can and I saw that one was a 3. And I was like, how did I not check? And the worst part is that 3s and 6s cost the same amount. So you're just getting half the product for the same amount of money.
This is true.
And I've just been harping on how much of a wussy you are if you have 3 milligrams in. Our first podcast, I don't know if you remember this, but our first podcast, I was roasting you and I said, what's the difference? Everyone was joking about Zen being tampons.
Right.
I was like, but honestly, with the 3 milligrams in, what is the difference between that and a tampon? Like borderline nothing, right?
Yep.
So I gotta confess, man, I got own up to it.
Yeah, you're on the 3s, huh?
And now I probably won't go back now that I'm past the headache phase. You know what I mean?
Come down.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I do see though how you can overdo it, bro. Like I was talking to my buddy JB. I was again this last week just making fun of people who do 3 milligrams ins, and I was like, I take half a can of 3 milligrams in when I go to bed.
Yeah.
just to get sleepy, because I would usually throw in 4 6ers, and that's half a content of a can of 3 milligrams in. And so I was like, damn, to find out, just been lying to myself for the last like 2 weeks.
3s.
Yeah.
I wonder what sort of like, if there is any genetic thing around the nicotine stuff, or
the headaches, you mean?
Or no, I mean like with how much you could take, because like I've got, so for instance, I chewed through like all of college, and
like, did you ever throw in like full horseshoes?
Yeah, routinely like full horseshoes and be fine.
Really?
Yeah, but I also wonder too, like on those sometimes though, you're really not getting as much as you think on the full horseshoe, because it's like it's in the middle. It's all dry, like it's not all.
I only did chaw. I only
not-
did chaw like 3 times, and every time I did like a pinch. I never did anything insane.
The full go. And so so sometimes I could do a full horseshoe, not get sick. I should say I wouldn't always do. I wasn't like, but I would chew, and then Zen came out, and I'd start doing those. Yeah, like the 6s. Like I just don't like them. But I've got a buddy who had he never smoked a cigarette, never done anything, but like he threw in like first go like 2 6s and didn't feel it.
Huh.
Period.
Nothing.
Which, I mean, anybody out there who's tried dip before, like you remember your first dip, like or like that first like time nicotine hit you.
That's interesting you say that, bro.
You
I
know?
remember the first time nicotine hit me, but I've never felt any effects from chew.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was gross. And if anything, I remember thinking it sobered me up a little bit rather than making like the effects of alcohol more harsh, you know what I mean, or more intense. Whereas Zyn for me, like if I have had drinks and I have a Zyn, it like multiplies the kind of relaxed, like temporary lightheadedness of nicotine, and it feels like cigarettes and beer. It's like, yeah, nothing like a cigarette after 5 beers. So I say that like I also pretty much have stopped drinking too. I'm really like I'm getting old, dude. Like I gotta say, everything by happenstance is really reducing a lot.
6-pack in a log lasts you a month.
Smoke break.
Smoke break.
Hey, Ken, it's Mick, and I've got something important to talk about. We all hope we never find ourselves in a self-defense situation, but life's unpredictable. Enter the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer, an actual credible law firm you could put on retainer for your self-defense needs. For just $35 a month, you get national coverage in all 50 states for criminal and civil legal representation in self-defense situations, complete with a 24/7, 365 toll-free emergency line. That's real legal support when you need it most. What's in the package? Bail bonds, scene cleanup, firearm replacement, even mental health counseling. Plus, 0 fees for a laundry list of defense-related costs like expert witnesses. So support the show and get yourself some peace of mind. Click the link in our show notes or visit our sponsors page to sign up for the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer.
Hey folks, Pat here. If you're like Mick and I, you're a fan of classic tales like Lonesome Dove, Blood Meridian, The Three-Body Problem, and Steinbeck's East of Eden. With Audible, you can dive into these epic stories anytime, anywhere. Sign up for a free month, and your first audiobook is on the house. To start your free trial and support our show, click the link in the show notes or swing by the sponsors page on our website.
Want an awesome website for your podcast? Check out Podpage. We use it for the Mick Pat show, and it's a game changer. Set it up in minutes, no coding needed. Support the show by using our link to get started. Your podcast deserves a home as great as ours. Podpage, the one-stop solution. Yeah. Anyways, though, I get like with your buddy where he wasn't affected by it. I guess I definitely do. I've definitely overdone it with Zyn. If I drink, I can't have no 4 or 6 milligram Zyns. I'll throw up for sure.
Too much going on.
Yeah, but if I haven't had anything to drink, and I've been good about drinking water and stuff, and I'm not on a full stomach, I would say Zyn doesn't have too much of an effect on me anymore. What about you? Like, are you sensitive to cigars too? Like, if you inhaled on a cigar, would that make you nauseous?
Not now.
Not anymore.
Before I chewed, yes.
Oh yeah,
because
sure.
But like, I feel like when you chew, it's so much more direct and potent than like smoking that it.
Yeah, probably.
Like smoking stuff now just is like, I put in a Zyn and smoke a cigar at the same time.
What, dude?
Or whatever,
It's so gross to me.
But dude, there's this wild company out of India right now putting out some snooze pouches that are like 25 milligrams of pop or something.
What?
It's like something wild. Yeah. It just
Holy smokes.
It just sounds not good.
I will say
the heart, stop your heart.
One, let's do a real quick brevity shout out to our Indian audience. Shockingly, listen here, all you Americans, I'm pissed because we have had some Indians in the last week, like an insane amount of growth in India for our audience listener base. Like I'm talking like 3,500 subscribers in 3 days.
We're about to shift our the time of day we release this to be on the other side of the globe.
Seriously, I'm about to change our whole philosophy so that way we're pandering to them instead of you guys, because Americans need to they just aren't showing up as much as those Indian guys at the rate they are. But anyways, thank you to our Indian audience, especially out of Calcutta. That's where we see a huge amount of men and women listening to the pod.
Are there large bot farms in Calcutta?
I don't know. I mean, but you know what I mean? I'm not paying for no bot farms.
Uh-huh.
We pay, we try to take pointers and pay for Google ads. But Google ads, I don't know how it all works. It's Google's algorithm of who they show stuff to.
You're not buying. You're not buying subscriber.
No, you pay for advertisement.
You pay for
people see
to
it
be out there. Yeah.
Yeah. And essentially you get charged based on the clicks. But anyways, shout out to our Indian brethren and sisters out there. On that point, to the both of my supervisors in my current role working for the government, my direct supervisor is from southern India, and the one that's above both him and I that we both report to is from middle northern India. And great guys, incredibly great coworkers, good managers. Very happy to work for them or work with them both on this project. But one thing I've learned from them is that they got the culture of substances is it's different from American, European, Western culture of drug use. There's not people in India doing black tar heroin, but there is people in India just chewing gobsmack mouthfuls of opium. You know what I mean? There's just the dichotomy's different, and a lot of the drug stuff or alcohol stuff that I know of from my coworkers and spending time talking to them and stuff and their experience, not that they did those drugs, but just coming from that culture, immigrating, is that a lot of it's based off of oral ingestion, whether it's chewing it and spitting it out or swallowing it, but not a lot of it's injectable, right? And people are injecting a lot, and people outside of cigarettes aren't smoking a ton. And I thought that was just really interesting, getting to know them, because that you don't see I would say the drug culture is primarily in America, outside of alcohol and cigarettes, is primarily smoke that, but put it in a pipe and smoke it, or put it in a syringe and inject it. It's not primarily, let's make this kind of a oral fixation of eating and chewing and something you could go on a walk and put these leaves in your mouth and you'll feel real great by the end of that walk, which is weird because you see that culture over there, and they just sell bags of leaves from opium plants, and you roll the leaves with a kind of residue substance. It's not purified coke or heroin at that point, but it's definitely opium based. And it's natural. It's like a wax off the leaves, and you roll it around, and this liquid kind of makes it a little bit of a not molasses but sweeter taste. You just chew on it. I can't remember what it's called, but it had some pretty cool slang term. And I was like, dude, if some guy came up to me, was like, you want this saran wrapped bag of leaves and honey?
Is it cot?
I think it's cot. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, cot.
Yeah.
But anyways, all that said, different culture around substance use. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and people. It is funny to be some people might be I would never inject something in my body.
Yeah,
but I would put it in this way, as if that makes it different or whatever. But
I kind of feel attacked because that's how I am.
Yeah,
I could never put a needle full of heroin into my arm, but I definitely, I'm too much of a but if you were chew on this, bro, if someone was so have you ever had a silicone wedding ring? or like any kind of silicone
I've seen
product.
them, yeah.
You know how satisfying those are to chew?
Just like
you just put it in your mouth and chew on it, and it's just so bouncy, and it never deforms. If someone was like, "Here, take this silicone-based product where as you chew it, more heroin gets released," I'd be fucked. Like, that is it. I'd be throwing that thing in and just chew it all day, dude. Chew it while I work. Chew it. You know, not that I've ever done hard drugs, not even remotely close. But just like, I know I am orally fixated on stuff. I know with Zen, I do it because of the oral fixation, not because of the, drug side effects.
Right. And yeah, it feels, something about it just feels different, or however it's going on. And
it's like a focus tool. It's like a squeeze ball almost, but in your mouth.
Yep. Have you seen this new, I don't know how new it is, but the drug K2 in prisons?
Yeah.
What is K2? Because it's messing people up.
Yeah, let me pull it up. I'll be,
because so basically,
if I remember, it's like it is a stem of crocodile, if I remember right. But I'll look it up real quick.
Because the videos I've seen of these dudes in prison, it's like the main prison drug right now, and guys just like all guys react different to it, but mostly you just see people who can't stand up straight, losing their mind, either crying or screaming or banging their head against a wall, and it just looks insane.
Yeah, so I'm totally wrong. K2 is not crocodile based. It's we always called it Scooby Snacks or Spice when I was in law enforcement, because it was more common as like not like a county jail thing, but you hear about it a lot from people coming from prison, federal prison. But it's synthetic marijuana.
That's it.
Yeah, it's essentially a chemical designer drug, and who knows where these things come from, how they're manufactured.
China.
Because honestly, it's hard for me to believe that it's easier to make this than it is to grow weed. Like,
right.
You drive down any rural road in the Midwest, you'll find marijuana growing in a ditch. So it's hard for me to believe like this is more cost effective. But it's got a bucket load of THC, but also has quite a few other things that are usually more chemical and mixed into it. And it's often marketed as like potpourri bowl incense that you burn or herbal incense. And
because I've seen dudes,
it makes you fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, because here's the deal.
Yeah.
I've seen and been around people who have smoked weed or eaten an edible.
They
are not doing what these guys are doing.
No, dude, this stuff is like liquid THC with additional chemicals mixed into it. Like, people will put it in their marijuana vape pens to try to, like, not let people know they're smoking some kind of synthetic THC. And it just look like an e-cigarette. But yeah, no, a lot of side effects are like high, like not depressant side effects.
It's like it's an upper, not a downer.
Yeah, like marijuana, almost every side effect of marijuana, other than anxiety, is downer stuff. With this, like, there's a lot of seizures, a lot of paranoia, a lot of anxiety, a lot of like full body numbness and like paralytic tingling. So a lot of people panic because they like stop being able to feel their feet or anything below their knees or their fingers, and they're already on drugs, having hallucinations. So yeah, it is like I think I've heard people compare it to, like, it's just like the THC version of bath salts, because it is like you can buy spice legally, just like you can go buy bath salts legally. No one's gonna, like, you get pulled over and you have spice in your car and it's in its like commercial container. It's usually, like I said, marketed as like a incense thing. But also makes you wonder, like, yeah, you probably shouldn't smoke the incense stick dipped in a bunch of chemicals.
Right. Like,
you probably have the same reaction.
Like, you shouldn't take toilet bowl cleaner and smoke it or whatever. It's legal to own that. You should not put it in your body. But some of those videos coming out with the prisons, and then also it's hitting the just streets too, where you see, like, some of the East Coast stuff, LA or Portland stuff, for the true zombie land.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about, like, just going out there to see if it's as bad as some of the videos make it look.
Oh man, you have no idea, bro. It's so bad.
Like, you know,
once you see it, it's like it is rough.
Because if anybody can go make a video edit that looks like, oh my God, on every corner, this is what it's like.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's like, I just wondered about some of the places going out there just to kind of see, like, is this what it seems like it is?
Our boy, Mike, Green Beret, Asian Irish. Mike
Glover did a video on it.
Yeah, he went out and saw Ozzy Osbourne's son. They're buddies because that guy, Osbourne's son, what is his name? Pat Osbourne? Can't remember. He did a couple of Glover's classes and they became buddies. And he lives in, I think, Orange County. And he pretty much just told him of how things have changed and how the dynamic is just crazy. Dude, I remember being in line in Iceland for my honeymoon in 2021. We're in line to fly back. And unbeknownst to me, the man in front of me was from San Francisco. When I was just going through my phone on the news, and I was like, God, San Francisco is just falling apart. It's such a shithole from when I lived, like, not lived there, but from when I visited. And this dude turns around to me and he looks at me, he's like, it's not as bad as people say. And like, you really should, like, I live there. It's not a shithole. I'm like, bro. And I remember my wife and I, like, my wife was standing right next to me as we're looking at this article talking about like crime rates and stuff. And I was like, in 2021, I was like, it is, dog. Like, and I like let him, you know, I was like, I don't know, man. This article is making a good case. And I remember what San Francisco was like. Like the homeless people in San Francisco, when I went there as a kid, were great. They were like, all of them were trying to be a parent. You know, like I'm sure I kind of rainbow
or didn't go down some of the streets of the other homeless people. But yeah, like, no, it's the same. Yeah, generally speaking, those big homeless populations, yeah, they have their like it seems like at the time they had their normal homeless struggles, not what's going on now, where you see like there's also people who are just like kind of like long-term homeless folks and like they've got their problems and stuff, whatever. But then you also see like now if I could see all these things of people who are just like, oh, I think you might have had a normal life like a week ago and now you're here, like with your eyes rolled in the back of your head.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, I've met people who are recently homeless, but like recently homeless is usually I live in my car and it's a temporary thing and I'm hustling because I don't want to be homeless. Right. I almost never meet someone who's recently homeless and is just like, yeah, whatever. It's like, I guess this is my life now. Like,
but that's there though. I feel like it's like they are recently homeless, but because of how fast these drugs are taking over their life, you know, and the like, so it's like a lot. I see a lot more like younger people. You're like, I think that dude's like 18. Like, how did he get here this fast? You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think about. I spent a lot of time helping out homeless people and stuff when I was a kid in Denver, and I do think I see a lot more younger homeless around now than I recall as a kid. But I think a lot of that is because of the drug use, of course, right? Drug use is higher now than it's been at almost any other point in U.S. history. That said, I think a lot of these younger people we see are like a failure of, you know, parents not raising them well and a system not like being there to support them, whether it was, you know, public education or whatever, you know, whatever you want to say, like whatever they would say to like blame it on, right? And I also do think it is easier to be homeless now, bro. I remember homeless guys that I would talk to hustling to get enough money to get a burner phone. And now almost every homeless person I know has a smartphone. And they're more than happy to say, dude, Sunday, like we were at the church and the guy, which, you know, he's a great guy. He's been coming to church for a little while. And, you know, by no means am I concerned about his behavior or anything like that. I've seen him at church for several Sundays now. But this last Sunday, he was like, hey, I got my phone and I was hoping to use the Wi-Fi. And I was like, yeah, sure, dog. Like, what, you know what I mean? And like hooked him up with like the Wi-Fi and stuff like that. But I'm just like, I mean, that might be a reason why, it's easier to be homeless. It's maybe more effective. I mean, I've met guys in our town here that are, like they choose to be homeless, guys and girls who choose to be homeless because they make like $50K a year just panhandling.
And
they don't have to spend on rent, and it's tax free.
Right.
Yeah,
it's like you can get your free. They were handing out free iPads on the corner here the other day too.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, they were.
Where?
Here, right here on the corner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just in the so you could
like homeless people were handing out free iPads, or other like businesses were giving out.
No, some organization was giving out free iPads to homeless people, and so it's like you could just like, I don't know.
That doesn't sound like it's going to solve their problem.
I know,
that sounds like it enables it.
I know. But like you just like do your Robin Hood E-Trade by day, like from a McDonald's. I don't know. Like,
oh my gosh, dude. Nothing would be better than just like, I will say on Reddit, I do see more people posting on Reddit saying I am homeless than I've ever seen in my life before.
Right.
Especially like, in the like Colorado forums I'm a part of, like I see so many people who are like, well, I'm actually homeless, and I'm more than happy to kind of provide it. Like, and I do see it on like Wall Street Bets. Like, it's just like not a joke.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, dude, like this is temporary. I'll be out of this in like a few months, but like I still gotta manage my portfolio.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, bro, what world do I live in? It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's wild for sure. The
homeless.
With the, because I was thinking about some of the drugs with the young people, and I had a buddy who had his cousin, normal kid, normal family, high schooler, went in for wisdom teeth removal or some sort of oral surgery, routine stuff, got painkillers, and before he's even like halfway done with the prescription, like truly just like addicted, and like over the next course year of his life, like onto heroin, onto the next thing.
Wow.
Like, and it's like, it really was one of those things where it was like a, quote unquote normal person, normal family that just unraveled in what felt like moments. And so, I think some of and drugs there's always been, it's for all of time, there have been people down on their luck. For all of time, there's been people who have some form of drug, of alcohol abuse, and then that results in, homelessness, and you can go all the way back to, whatever time you want, even, in the Bible or whatever, like it's been a thing for a long time. But something about the way that these drugs can react to a person to truly grab hold of them in a moment's notice and tank their life is pretty scary. Something I've been thinking about, like even like with my boys, as I have, I've got 2 sons under 5, and right now, like their biggest concerns in life are super easy little things. But I just think about things for their future, because I've seen lots of people's kids who, it seems like, good parents, not only well-intended, but diligent parents, have kids who grow up to just end up jacked up. And you're like,
oh, yeah.
So those, you can't get trapped in that as a parent of a fear, but you do have to be like vigilant to be like, okay, what do I need to do to keep my kids safe from these sorts of, things, so that someday I'm not doing the nightmare thing that lots of dads are doing with their kids of like, all right, like you did it again, like tough love, we got to kick you out. I don't know where he's been on the streets for like 3 months, that sort of thing,
I think I'd love it if you watch this so we could do a Bruiser reviews on it, because it's one of my favorite shows I've ever seen. But it's a limited series, 1 season on Hulu, called Dope Sick. It's the true story of several POVs. Some people are an amalgamation of, a bunch of people. But it does a great demonstration of the opioid crisis. How did it even get to this point where pharmaceutical companies had sales reps just trying to pump this drug out. How did they justify it after seeing the addictions? How did doctors prescribe it as a painkiller, knowing that it was going to cause us pain? And it really was one of those things. I think when you watch this, you'll see it was like the head of the pharmaceutical company. Gosh, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It was pretty much like he knew with his trials. And dude, the FDA is like an absolute joke. FDA is just pretty much like their palms get greased and they pass a drug.
Mm-hmm.
And to get them to delist a drug is next to impossible. And they will parade you around as an idiot. Like, oh, this idiot's trying to get Vicodin delisted. Look at this idiot. And they will do everything they can to get your medical license revoked, get you fired as a lawyer. And the show shows a great example of these lawyers who really went after the pharmaceutical company to try to get the drug delisted with all the case evidence of the opioid addictions and crisis, and how the FDA just kind of shrugged their shoulders and was like, you're kind of making a scene here, and this is big money. And it's like, gosh, government sucks. Government is awful.
And there's this thing in government where for some reason you cannot admit you're wrong. Like,
yeah, you can never admit, be like, wow, we really didn't check the studies well enough. We just believed what they told us. Right.
And all the way from a local mayor to the president of the United States to big institutions, organizations, I don't know why it's like literally impossible for them to admit wrongdoing.
Never do it.
Because they would have...
Which is crazy. I admit I'm wrong every day.
They would gain the people's trust immensely, I think. Now, maybe
Humility?
not. Maybe not. Maybe the thing is, if you ever admit you're wrong, now it's like, now people have a foothold in a door that you're fallible, but like, I don't think that's true. Like, I think there's been lots of people who've just, in organizations, that if they would just stand up and say, we were wrong about that.
Yeah.
We are going to correct it now. That you would have a lot more trust in the people.
I think so too. I definitely think that, like, I would not be shocked if like COVID had totally turned out differently. If like Fauci came out and was like, well, we were wrong about this. Not just the science is adapting. It's just like, no, we were wrong. And now we know we were wrong. And here's now what we've discovered.
Here's our next best directive.
Just say you're wrong. Like, don't try to word salad it. Because I think that's like what a lot of America's character is based on is, you know, honesty. That's why people get so mad when there's dishonesty, right? Anyways, all that. Yeah, homelessness, drug epidemic. Homelessness right now is just getting out of control even where we live, bro. I don't know if you've seen, but we have skyrocketing police reports of theft, break-ins, things like that in like our small little community in the Rockies. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on, dude? It's sad, but honestly, it is one of those things though where I do think like voting locally is really important. Because like there's a lot of people here who have voting rights that rent. And don't get me wrong, I rent. You rent. We both rent where we live. But there's people here who have voting rights that aren't going to be a part of this community. Yeah, aren't going to be a part of the city in the next year, 2 years, 3 years.
Generally speaking, a renter type is less likely to be invested in the community than someone who owns a home here. Their kids go to school here. They own a business here. They're the long haul in it. You know,
and a lot of them though get really politically like aggravated when while they're here, it doesn't meet what they want it to be. For them. Which I get, like, that's natural. However, a lot of these people I see are like, they don't own a house, they don't have a business, they don't have a family here, they live with roommates and they're planning on moving soon. It's like they are like, yeah, we need to have more affordable housing projects so we can give free homing to like the homeless that are moving here. We need more handout stuff. And I'm like, you don't get a say. You know what I mean? Like, and they're like, oh, like, you're such a NIMBY, which is not in my backyard, which is what they use just for like derogatory of anyone who's kind of more conservative, not politically, but conservative in like how they want their small town community treated, and the policies. And I'm like, at least like I care about this backyard. I've been here for a decade. You know, I've lived here longer than I've lived in my hometown, and it's just like one of those things of like, I think we do have a right to say, no, that's not what we want our community to turn into. We don't want it to be a handout community. Yes, let's do things to help homeless here and help them with health and access to healthcare and access to resources to get employed. So that way, if they want to go back to where they came from and return to a home, or they want to become a part of the community and get like become a renter or owner of property, then like let's give them the things to do that. That said, though, time and time again, you look at communities, especially small town communities, that do these affordable housing developments where it's usually in the center of the town, and it's usually very cheap or free state funded housing or federal funded housing. People just go there, they get signed up, they cross their T's, dot their I's, and then they just have a roof over their head to do drugs, and they don't ever pay any money into it, and then they just
don't take care of it.
They just wait till they get kicked out. And it's just a cycle, dude. And I'm just like, no, I don't want that in my community. I don't want that in the community that I want to be my home, where I want to raise my children. I'd rather do something alternative to that.
Yep. And I think I was thinking of this little example with the way that we're talking about. We're generalizing the renter person, how they vote, or the uninvested individual in the community, how they vote.
And I think we're allowed to, because we still rent.
Right.
I understand housing is expensive where we live. Right.
And and we are talking about the person who's, not invested in the community, and using, renting as a way to talk about them. But, so it's the classic thing where the guy goes up to, someone says, comrade, would you give me property and we could share it? He's like, oh yeah, I could give you property and we could share it. That sounds great. He's like, okay, good. He's like, comrade, would you give me a car, and oh yeah, I would give you a car, in this hypothetical situation. I'd give you a car, I have 2 cars and you don't have any, I'll give you 1 car. And he says, okay, cool. Would you give me a chicken? If you had 2 and I had none, would you give me a chicken? And the guy says, no. And he says, why? And he says, well, because I have chickens. And so the example here being that socialism, communism always ends wherever your wallet starts. So, oh yeah, if I had 40 acres, I'd love to give you 20 acres.
If I owned a house, I'd give you my backyard.
Right. No, I'm not giving you my second jar of peanut butter.
You cannot live in my room with me.
Right. Yeah.
You can't be my roommate.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So like all those people, the NIMBY people, are the ultimate NIMBY people, because they're typically not the ones paying property and income tax on the level of the other people who are trying to keep it straight still. Like they're not invested in the community, literally invested monetarily the same way the other people are who are trying to keep it straight. And so I just like for instance, anytime our town's Reddit feed goes off, it's just always like it feels like that conversation's going on all the time.
Oh yeah, constantly.
And I don't comment because I'm like, I don't want you to try to figure out where I live.
I have precious karma on Reddit. I'm doing good. I have I have way more. I'm in like the top 0.01% of people with karma. And I'm very protective over it.
Oh yeah, dude. I just don't comment anywhere. I'm just like, I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it. I just sneak in on the little areas and investigate.
I have noticed with my commenting though, especially even on YouTube, I'm just like, and I don't know if it's just part of like being part of like a consultant for, a company that does government contracts, and just seeing like all the things that people do that are so stupid and that everyone knows about, and you're like, that could seriously get in the way of you like having an opportunity to work on something cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like keep those kind of opinions off of social media.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, I think my mindset has changed towards that, because like even with like comments on YouTube now, I'm like way more tame.
Yeah.
Like I'll type it out. I'm like, no one cares.
Yeah. All this is
like,
going to get me get me somehow fired in like 2050.
Yeah, no kidding, right? And so like I'm just like whatever. Like I just usually I always delete it. My only comments are if I pretty much enjoy the content,
mm-hmm.
and I let them know like it was something I participated in while on the porcelain throne.
Yeah.
And but yeah, good stuff. I think this is a good episode. We could call it here.
Mm-hmm.
I got that off my chest about the 3 milligrams in. I got 4 in right now.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 6s. But anyways, Ken, thanks for joining us. Do check us out on the YouTubes. We would love if you subscribed, commented. We just started this week and are putting a lot of effort into it. And I just showed Pat showed me. I just showed Pat some of our mock-ups of merchandise. We got cool shirts. We're trying to design stuff that you'd wear whether or not it was even branded with our stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're getting into that realm, so stay tuned for that stuff. For our merchandise, when it comes out, honestly, best way to know of that kind of sick stuff and get deals on it is on our YouTube or our website. And so stay posted for that. There's no way to really show your merch on Spotify.
Right.
At least not right now. So anyways, stay around for those things. They're coming down the pipeline, getting really close to production. And check out our dog-eared dialogues, because that's been popping off. And we've gotten a lot of good feedback from that. So if you like Blood Meridian or you're interested in it, we do a whole deep dive into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're working on the next one of those. We'll have another one of those coming out probably, I don't know, next 1 to 4 months. We'll be putting out some more dog-eared dialogues.
Yeah.
That being said, because we want to put in the time to make it worth your time to listen to it, and so that's one of those projects for us where we're trying to, we have these weekly things that come out. We love that you join in with us on them, and some of our limited series or dog-eared dialogues, things like that, we want to try to put in some extra time on producing those and putting them together in a more solid, followable format where you can engage, especially because we will talk for a long time about them, and so we want to make it worth your time. And I think that I kind of always like to bring it around to something introspective. I don't know, towards the end, because we're talking about drug use, and we're talking about homelessness, and anything we say here that might sound flippant about those things, we aren't. We're, in this context, we are just sitting having a conversation about it, and we do know that there's lots of people who struggle with addiction, people who struggle with mental health, and those are some of the key components that lead to finding yourself without a home, finding yourself addicted on the streets. And I think that we know that there is hope beyond that, and we also don't necessarily judge the individual for finding themselves there. We do want better for those people, and we do think that there is hope for everybody out there, and we know that we actually know some of the answers to the hope in that too. And and we don't get preachy here too often, but there is hope that's outside of this world for those things.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Reason for this season. All right. Thanks for joining us, Ken. We'll catch you next time.
Till next time. Thanks for tuning in. If you love this episode, drop us a review. If you have qualms or comments, leave us a voicemail on our website. While you're there, check out our latest news, merch, and deals from our sponsors. Till next time, Ken.